let you know, I've got to let you know, you're one of my kind.
Arthur's got a new string to his bow. International cuisine.
I have a top team of professional caterers all geared up and raring to go. We are the answer to your culinary nightmares.
We got a do on here tonight. 20 or more, they tell me.
But the top team have a nasty surprise in store.
Hey, old Bill, millions of them. What's the penalty for poisoning nowadays?
Arthur's not waiting to find out. Minder, Thursday at 9.
Well, tomorrow this time, Entertainment UK runs down Britain's guide to what's on in the dance, film and music industry, and it's music we concentrate on now. Dust off your drain pipes and blue suede shoes for a night at the New York Ritz. Gary U.S. Bonds, Bo Diddley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Wilson Pickett and the Platters take the stage for a classic rock and roll reunion.
Do you know you can get fined up to £2,000 or even go to prison for messing around with fireworks?
Is that all? What do you mean? Guy Fawkes got undrawn and three-quartered.
Follow the fireworks code.
By order of the management.
Let's go careful at the fireworks do tonight. I want to see you all here safe and well for night time, which begins with Video View, and then another case of Robert McCall, the equaliser. Donahue is along at 2 to discuss the problems of the homeless. Then it's curried lamb on the menu in Night Bites, so I hope the air conditioning is working. In 60 Minutes, there's more stories from the US, including the granny who's a governor. There's Entertainment UK at 4, and then Jack's in trouble again in Three's Company. Tuesday's night time, miss it and weep. Now on night time, the ITN Morning News with Phil Roman. The time, 5:31.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 5th of November. This is ITN's Morning News. 2 senior cabinet ministers have warned the European Commission there are limits to the amount of interference Britain will accept from Brussels. In Brussels, the Foreign Secretary, Mr. HURD, said Britain wanted close cooperation with our European partners, not domination by Eurocrats.
About a tendency which some people in Britain, quite a few people in Britain, see of the Commission to try and involve itself in the nooks and crannies of everyday life.
And at the CBI in Bournemouth, Trade Secretary Peter Lilly criticised the economic plans of EC President Jacques Delors.
Like the car, DeLorean economics is flashy, expensive and fundamentally fraudulent.
The presidents of Yugoslavia's 6 republics will discuss the latest EC peace plan in The Hague today. But Serbia has virtually rejected it outright, choosing instead to continue their all-out offensive against Croatia, in which 60 people have died in the past 3 days. The Sun newspaper says it'll appeal against having to pay actor Bill Roache's costs of £100,000 after the Coronation Street libel case. Mr. Roache, who plays the Street's Ken Barlow, was celebrating last night after being awarded £50,000 damages against the Sun after the paper had called him boring.
I don't think anyone should ever have to go through what we have been through to justify our good name, even though we've won and we have won and won well.
We'll have a news update later, but now the world news, first seen last night by viewers overseas.
Hello and welcome to the ITN World News. I'm Julia Somerville and we'll bring you the top international stories of the day. The headlines. Delegates at Middle East peace talks in Madrid say they will continue talks, but they still can't agree on a venue. Imelda Marcos returns home and is expected to be charged with fraud and tax evasion. And the Yugoslav Federal Army tightens its grip on key Croatian towns and cities. First, the Middle East Peace Conference in Madrid has ended with delegates committed to meet again for further talks. But the last session between Israel and Syria concluded with both sides saying nothing had been achieved. Their meeting, which lasted until the early hours of Monday morning, was dominated by one issue, the return of the Golan Heights. Syria wants Israel to withdraw from the strategic hills seized during the Six-Day War in 1967, but the Israelis are refusing to negotiate a pullout. Both sides did agree to meet again, though the choice of venue is likely to be contentious. ITN's Edward Sturton sent this report from Madrid on Monday.
As they packed up the paraphernalia of diplomacy, all the parties seemed confident that they will find a way to meet again. And before leaving Madrid, everyone was anxious to declare their determination to see the process go forward.
We want Israel to be ringed with a circle of peace, not with a circle of war and guns. And this perhaps began here in Madrid. We shall know very soon if the parties are interested in peace, if they're interested in moving ahead and not in moving backwards.
The Syrians say they want peace too, but
at the Israeli side has done all what it could to make the peace conference and the talks a waste of time.
The American Secretary of State James Baker may try and reconvene the conference in the United States towards the end of the month, but he's making no predictions yet.
There can't be any guarantees. This is the Middle East.
The parties leave here with no time or date fixed for their next meeting, but they have at least sat down together for the first time. And the Americans are grateful for even that success. They've been warning throughout the last week that this will be a long process, that there may be interruptions. Edward Sturton, ITN, Madrid.
The American Democratic Party is beginning to feel a little less pessimistic about next year's presidential election. A few months ago, it was almost unthinkable that the Democrats could deprive President Bush of a second term. But local, state and federal elections on Tuesday look likely to show that the Republicans face a tougher contest than they expected.
The Democrats believe President Bush is vulnerable on just about every domestic issue. New polls show that most Americans now believe the country is suffering because of his